George is our first driver in HiTech. Yeah, I don't know what to say about George, really. I think probably exceptional is just the word that comes to mind, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if you know, but obviously I used to race a similar time as George's brother Benji in karting. So I've known George since he was sort of even through cadets, and, you know, George has always been George Russell. You know, I think Lando's famous thing when he entered F1 of saying I had sort of George or Alex on his wall and different things karting, you know. I just feel very lucky to, you know, that first year when we launched, I think we wouldn't have established HiTech as a top team without George sort of driving for us, and also every day pushing the engineers and helping us. And I think one thing that just sticks in my mind is when it was our first visit to Macau and we took pole with George. And I'll never forget just watching, I don't know if you've been to Macau, you're in these tiny garages and you have a sort of a tiny screen that you're watching the timing and the onboard lap. And when it sort of showed George's lap, it was, you know, it was sort of heart in your mouth. Oh my God, what a lap. That just sums George up for me, that he can do exceptional things. And I think, you know, we saw it last year, different sort of qualifying laps with Williams. I think it was Hungary or somewhere where he pulled a lap out that was just, you know, out of this world. And I think, you know, it's bad to say it, but those moments are, you know, just magical, really. And that's what being a team boss, it's great to be a part of. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that makes you what you are is the fact that you were a quick driver in the junior formula yourself. You're a Red Bull driver, and you're still young enough to be mates with them all, but you're doing this thing, you're living this dream now with this ladder you're creating. And I, you know, I'm not just saying this for the sake of it, but I think you take more of an interest and you care more about the character of each driver and trying to get the best from the drivers, perhaps more than some of your peers. And I wonder whether you'd be open for me just to mention a few names of drivers and you just to sort of give me your reaction, memories of them, how good, or anything you want to say about them, because there are quite a lot of drivers that you've been connected with throughout your career so far, right? Okay. I won't give you a chance to say no. So let's just start with, these are just names I'm going to pluck out of the sky, but Harrison Scott, he strikes me as a quick guy, never really had an opportunity, drove for you in Asia, but he won in Euro Formula Open. What do you think about Harrison, for example?
He's brilliant. Do you know, the first thing when you say Harrison, and he'll love me saying this, that springs to my mind is Alex Albon. Him and Alex are inseparable from karting through to everything. And, you know, Harrison is a brilliant kid, and I don't know if you know his sort of racing ladder, but he went karting Formula Ford that route. And Harrison's very quick. He just never got the opportunity. And whenever I've had the chance at HiTech, he did a one-off race for us in Asia at the end of the year when we had a spare seat. And he's a brilliant kid. And I'm amazed nobody with a GT team or something's not picked him up, because I think he's the ultimate guy to have in your team. You know, he's brilliant, Harrison, yeah.
What about Jack Doohan? He's done a lot of winning for you in Asia already, and he's won in other categories as well. How do you rate Jack?
Jack's probably one of the most promising young guys coming through. He obviously, what was slightly different for Jack was he did the British F4 and then sort of Euro Open formula. So he's almost a little bit outside to compare to, say, some of the other young guys who've come into F3. But I can tell you from when Jack joined us in Asia, he was sort of 15, couldn't make the first race because he was too young, to how he finished with us in Asia end of last year. He went from almost a teenager to a proper racing driver, and he won't hate me saying that. He was brilliant at the end of it. And I know, you know, he did a test for us in Valencia end of last year in FIA F3, and I think he didn't surprise me with the job he did, but I think I was more impressed with the way he just got in and basically was one of the top drivers jumping in for the day against all the guys who've done the season in F3. And I expect big things of Jack this year in F3. I think he's with HWA next to Jake, and I think that'll be a strong team. Yeah.
And he couldn't have a cooler dad, really, could he, and Mick?
Phil, who runs my Asia team, it's the only ever time I've seen Phil go red or go shy was when he first met Mick out in Asia. He'll kill me for saying that, but it was quite funny. Yeah, Mick is a legend, and I have to say, there's a lot of dads in racing who probably overstep or think they know more than they do, and Mick is one of the few who actually, he's brilliant. Yeah.
You mentioned Jake Hughes, the perennial Jake Hughes. He's very quick when he's on it, when he has his opportunity.
We call him Brummy after his time here from Birmingham. So, yeah, I'm a massive Jake fan. He was with us in 17 and he did a good job. I think, obviously, he's repeating F3 again with his sort of programme he's on with HWA, which obviously I don't know what they've got planned for him. It looks like he's doing some Formula E and different things. But, yeah, Jake's a really good kid and I expect him, unfortunately for me in HiTech, to be one of the main protagonists this year in F3. So we'll have to see how we do against him. Yeah.
Macau last year should have been Juri. Richard Visscher drove really well there, didn't he?
Can't take anything away from Richard, really. Yuri's my, everyone loves Juri, and I think we're all massive Juri fans. I think you and me have spent a lot of weekends last year admiring him. I think Macau, it's odd, really, isn't it? It sort of goes down as, oh God, he should have done the job. But on the other side, Macau is unpredictable, and he was faultless all weekend. And I know, obviously, that last race, there was different things said with DRS not being open and safety cars and this stuff. But to be truthful, he did a brilliant job all weekend. And actually, I just put it down to a typical Macau. Richard did a mega job. And also, from a sporting spectacle, it made an interesting race, even if it probably winds me up that we've had 3 trips to Macau, taken 2 poles and never won that.
So frustrating, isn't it? You ran Yifei last year, and we have another Chinese driver, Guanyu Zhou, who's very good as well. Yifei didn't seem to respond. Looked like he was another guy that you really believed in based on what he was doing in Formula Renault, and difficult year for him.
He drove for Kaufman in Renault, so Lars and Joseph are good friends of mine, and obviously I touched base with them about Yifei, and I think all of us, Yifei's a huge talent. I think it probably was a big step for him from Renault up to FIA F3, getting on top of the Pirelli tyres. I think it was the first season with that new car. I think, honestly, to be fair to him as well, being in a team with Leo and Juri, who were massively strong as well, didn't give him an easy time. But I fully expect Yifei see him in 2021 on the FIA F3 grid, showing us what he's capable of. Because, there was 2 races last year, Spa stuck out and also Sochi. By race 2 on Sunday, he was sort of bang on the pace and doing a really good job. But as you know, in FIA F3, if you don't finish in the top 8 on Saturday, nobody sees what you do on Sunday unless it's the team who has the data and has the lap time. So he probably didn't get the credit he deserves. Yeah.
Do you know much about Guanyu? Can I ask you about him or not?
No, I don't, other than sort of through karting. Obviously, I had young guys who were racing sort of at the same time as him. A friend of mine, Mark, manages Joe, and I think Joe's brilliant. I think everybody in F2 last year was massively impressed with the job he was doing.
Luca particularly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gave Luca a hard time, which I should remind him that every weekend this year.
Didn't he got the pole at Silverstone, I think, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. And I think
Luca Giotto, please advise.
Yeah, I think Joe is definitely in the hot seat for the championship this year, isn't he? I think there's a lot of expectation there. No, I think he did well, and I think even in F3, back in obviously the time with the older generation with DTM, he had weekends where he was sort of very strong and sort of almost you know, out of 4 strong drivers in Prema, Joe was on pole, and it was like, whoa, that was a brilliant job Joe done, you know. But I think last year he really did a good job. He was sort of consistently there, wasn't he, towards the end of the year?
Yeah.
So no, we'll have to see. And there's lots of rumours about him with F1 seats and Renaults.
Well, absolutely. Lots of money, and F1 needs a Chinese driver, no doubt about that.